Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So youth are predominantly the users of internet for social interaction. These sets of people, according to reports, are the ones who cannot imagine life without social media. A lot of skills such as communication skills, interpersonal skills, critical thinking are being swept under the carpet by Nigerian young people because of the incessant use of social media. How can these skills be harnessed even without us? So joining us on the show is the teens life coach and author When Fishes Climb Tree, Mr. Kingsley Obom-Egbulem. Welcome to the show. You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. One of the major issues I have with young people today is that critical thinking skills and even reflective thinking. You explain to a millennial, for example, okay, we're boiling yam, and I say, use the fork to touch the yam to be sure it's done. When it's done, dish it out and put the eggs. You've explained the process. Next time you're cooking yam, the person is just waiting for the yam to be done.
Without the egg.
Just tell me it's done and I'll dish it. You don't want to go through the process of checking, they don't want to see the process again. Just give me that microwave. Is the yam done? I will serve it. So how can we develop these skills in young people, especially because they're so addicted to social media?
Wow, that sounds like an accusation. Well, interestingly, those skills are teachable skills. Reflective thinking, communication, they are all skills that can be learned and can be taught. But if you look at the fact that social media has just been around for less than 15 years, and some of the millennials we're talking about now, most of them are still trying to find their feet. It means that it is really not social media that is responsible for the lapses we're seeing.
Uncle, welcome.
It is the fact that there is a wrong socialization from the home front. And that socialization, because social media is a revealer. It is revealing what has been there.
Yes. Simple.
So, what social media has done is it has revealed things that has been there with us all along.
Let me pause you for a quick second. So, if you're saying that there's something called interpersonal skills, I'm not talking with you anymore because I have my phone. I don't need to relate with you anymore because I have my phone. That was the so in the past we could relate, but it's not there. So, are you saying that social media didn't cause that?
Let me take it further. Before social media, we had TV. We had 24-hour TV, isn't it?
Yes, we did.
And by the way, when you say social media is technology enhancing social interaction. So if we were poorly interacting before, social media wasn't it now.
Ew. Don't make me okay. Sir, I'm happy that you're here. Because when I was thinking about it in my mind, I was saying, let's not make it sound like social media is evil and terrible. People have succeeded. People's businesses have grown using this platform. So the problem is not the tool.
No,
the problem is the people behind the tool. Now, let me give you a critical example. I had an auntie who lived all her life to show people...
Calm down.
To show people what she didn't have. So she would borrow money to buy clothes to go for Owambe. She will give her kids gari to drink. When visitors come, fried rice and salad will show up sharp. And so that person now, and another thing she had was she wasn't usually happy when something good happens to someone else. So now that person taking that character to social media will show when people are putting up pictures and then you get depressed because you're not happy in yourself. You think everybody else is doing the same thing you're doing. So for me, let's focus more on building the right values for ourselves and not blaming the tool.
Okay, point taken.
I need to stress this. I read that article. First of all, it is fallacy.
Okay.
In logic, that's what you call fallacy of hasty generalization, where you take a small and you spread it. That is what the article did. Now, the kind of young people that I work with, one of the things I do, I teach writing skills.
Okay.
And I found out that the teachers who taught them English never taught them how to write. And don't forget, you schooled abroad. Writing is taught.
Yes.
It is not just English language. They teach you how to write. In other words, part of your English language curriculum is the ability to express yourself in black and white. Now, what do we do here? We juggle everything together. And all you do is they say, tell us about how you spent your holiday. You come to school and start mumbling things together. You can't write effectively. So who is teaching our kids how to write? Now, if nobody's teaching them how to write, now social media is kind of eliciting the ability to communicate in writing.
It's abbreviated. Most of the things I write is abbreviated.
I'm coming.
I don't write abbreviations.
Hold on. The abbreviation is because you want to write fast. Now, the kids who translate that into the exam hall, that is the exception. Yeah, that's a problem.
Can I use that example? No. Let me give you an example, a real-life example. You know, when we speak, we used to say aren't. You know, and I remember one biology test I did. I used a lot of aren't, blah, blah, blah. The teacher just crossed it because I was used to abbreviating in speaking, and I took it to the hall. So it's not the problem of...
Is it informal writing or informal
It was informal. I took it was a formal exam, and I took informal language to write a formal exam. So we need to teach the children differently. But I wanted to say this. There's this thing when we were growing up, before social media, when we would sit down to have a conversation, adults would have their conversation. There were times when children could join in a conversation. But what social media does is, an adult is making a conversation, and everybody can jump in. And of course, what do you expect? A 2-year-old will come up with a 2-year-old opinion. A 15-year-old will come up with a 15-year-old opinion. So you now find yourself as an adult fighting children that if you were sitting there in front of them, you'd have said, just sit down and say, you know, adults are speaking right now, you know. So it's not the problem of social media, but bring everybody under one roof.
Give me 5 before.
Do you know that most of our private schools today, teachers are not empowered to discipline? Teachers don't have the power
to flog.
The word flog is even out of the way. If you try to upbraid a child, you're told you are
abusing the child.
Yeah, bringing the child's morale, the child's self-esteem down.
You're destroying the child.
So our children are empowered these days. But you see, there's also an extreme. You have the kids in public schools who are constantly being punished. Now, these kids, the moment they find their wings, they take it to the extreme. So that is what you're seeing on social media. But it's not the tool that is responsible.
Yes,
it is the reality of our socialization.
Yeah. Thank you,
we need to accept the fact that we've been poorly socialized.
How do we bring our values into the present-day socialization that we call social media and these technologies that we see? So I lost a cousin. I even mentioned it on the show. And all I could do was make a call. I felt it was wrong. Because that wasn't the way I was raised. What the proper thing to do is to visit my auntie and say, sorry about your loss. But I've been so busy, and the day of social media, the first stupid thing that came to my mind was make a call. I picked my phone and I dropped it back, and this is rubbish.
No, that's not so.
No, how do we now bring those, how do we balance with this day, you know, the ease of doing things? I want to learn a course, I just quickly Google this. I just ask the speed and everything and this easy life.
Let me help you there. I always say this, and fault me if you will. The things we call values were really not values. Yes. You know why? They were not tested. And values that are not tested.
Please, sir. Rewind.
Oh, shoot, guys. You gotta come back, sir.
I said what we call values are not values indeed unless they are tested. Until your values are tested, that is when you will know you have values or not.
Let me try to understand you. For example, if they told us growing up that you must kneel down to greet your father as a show of respect, right? Now, over time, if we test it, that indeed, after 30, 40 years, you still respect your father, or something your father did, that even you lost respect for him, but is kneeling down for your father something you test, and over time I say, okay, does it mean that I'm respecting my father? If it shows that you actually still don't respect your father, because even if you disown your mother or whatever it is, so that kneeling down did not solve your problem.
But I'll take it further. Let me take it further. Let me take it further.
Because I want to reverse it here.
They say, don't have sex before marriage. It's a value, isn't it?
Yes.
It's supposed to be a value.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's been tested.
Hold on. You've been in the house. No opportunity to have a boyfriend. Now you went on campus. There's no mom, no dad. Your roommate said, that boy is a nice boy. I said, but the guy has been eyeing you, but there's no room. Don't worry, I'll excuse you guys when he comes. Now you have an opportunity.
Yes.
And because there is an opportunity, you sleep with that boy. Do you have a value?
Okay, but then when you
were instructed. You were given an instruction. Now, what we've been living with are instructions.
Yes,
the advent of social media simply unveiled the fact that we never really had this superpower.
Rebut to say this must be a subjective.
The whole of Africa is on this table.
No, let me quickly rebut and say this must be subjective. Because just as you said, let's call it instructions. I was handed those same instructions over the years. 4 girls, my father said, go into the universities, explore. I got the opportunity, I dated. I tested the values, and I see them as the strongest kind of values to hold on to. So hold on, no, don't help me. Don't help me. No, don't help me. Don't help me.
Finish now, let her respond. We're here.
That is why, what Morel said, somebody might test it and still have deep respect for her father.
Yes.
Are you saying after testing it, does it remain a value, or are we then saying whether or not until it's tested, whether or not it's tested, it's no longer a value? It's not a value.
What I'm hearing him say, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. What I'm hearing him say is that there are other factors that led to that. The fact that you're pious, the fact that you don't do this.
This is not about being pious.
No, the other factor is not because you didn't give an instruction.
When you've tested your values, do you arrive at a choice that you know it becomes a value, or are we saying after the test? Okay, no, without test, throw it away.
Can I take it further?
Yes.
Can I take it further?
Please do,
sir.
I don't understand.
What makes the difference between values and instructions are the understanding behind instructions.
That's it. Now you have arrived at the table. You say he's standing way back.
Hold on. We're saying the same thing.
Yes.
So,
Now, lie prostrate when you see elders. Instruction. Why do you lie prostrate?
Out of respect.
No. I can lie prostrate without respecting you. No. I can lie prostrate. In my heart, I'm cursing you.
Standing up, sir.
But when you tell me that whenever you lie prostrate, the elders bless you. The gods of the land.
The reason.
So it goes in the head. Now, hold on. When you don't lie prostrate, the elders curse you. The land XYZ, XYZ. So the child knows.
Reason. You train your children with reason. Don't instruct. Nima, let them understand.
Let me give you another one.
Please.
If a boy touches you, what happens?
You get pregnant.
Was it an instruction? It was a faulty instruction.
Yes.
Now a boy touches you, no pregnancy.
Yeah.
Wow. This
that means you must lie down,
it starts to erode every other instruction.
Yes.
So what we need to do
So because they told you that they touch you, you get pregnant. And because they touched you, you didn't get pregnant. It means that it totally erodes every other down. No, automatically people be lying to you. You're not starting other things they actually know to do. Yes.
So
social media, forget social media. We're not talking social media again.
Calm down. You're jumping too.
Okay.
So we're not discussing values here. We're discussing instructions because, just as you said, by the time it's given with reason, it's a value that you live with. Yes. But when we use value first and define it the way you did, of course, wherever we jump, and then people would misunderstand that we have values and we should have values.
So you don't run away with that. You know, values are lived. You demonstrate values.
Over time.
Now, when your parents tell you to do things you never see them do, how does it come across? How does it come across to you?
Hypocrisy.
Now, so when you want to nail down values into a child, it goes beyond the verbal expression.
Yes.
A lot comes in. The child needs to have that understanding. The value has to be modeled over a period of time. Then the benefit you derive from living with that value. For instance, you are in a hall and they say, no noise because what? Examination is happening. And you ask yourself, so if I'm making noise, how does it affect
the examination that's happening?
Can I give one example that is used in the North a lot? So women, when a child is teething and the first tooth it brings out, maybe just one in the middle, in a weird place, they'll say it's because you backed your child and you were fetching water from the well. As a child, it did not make sense to me. I said, how does fetching water from a well make your child grow weird teeth? But for me, I think it was a way of telling women not to go to fetch water from the well with your child on your back because it's risky, it could have fallen. So you now send it to you now tell this story to the next generation without telling them the why. So it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
And then
there's no value.
Those are not values. Those are
No, but these are, yes.
In the South here, we also believe that
these are superstitions.
Those
some of the values we have.
Well, after testing them, they remain values. That's what I'm saying.
Some of the values we have today, the advent of the 21st century has crushed all of them because they were not founded.
Sir, let's go back to social media.
No.
Still on this value issue. Now, how do we help people who are addicted to social media so much that is affecting their other lives? We have a major problem of people using the likes they have and the followers to judge their value. So they feel terrible when they post a picture and they don't have as much likes as Nima. And then and then they become depressed. So how do we help them to see that this is a different sphere and your life is your life?
Okay, now, social media is a virtual life. It's called virtual reality. Now, what is virtual? Virtual simply means it doesn't really exist. Not true. So, not true. So, that's the starting point. Let people know that, now, if I leave the studio, I'm going to take off this jacket. I brought this jacket because this place is cold. This is not how I dress on a normal day. So, if you're watching me right now and you're looking at me and you feel, wow, this guy don't blow, you're being deceived.
You could have borrowed the jacket.
That's another thing. So we need to learn to, first of all, come to terms with ourselves. Realization is the word. But ultimately, let's not miss this point. Everything on social media is a reflection of what has been.
I think we can end with that.
Reflection of
social media, everything we're doing is a reflection of what has been. And that happened because we've not tested the values we claim we have.
Yes.
So I think we're going to bring you back, sir.
Yes.
We have to.
You are shaking a lot of tables that the whole of Africa. Yes. The whole of Africa is on this table. Let's come at this table.
Don't worry, this
all right, have a fabulous day. We'd like to appreciate and thank Cadbury Bonvita again for giving us lovely beverages earlier and cream slices for that lovely cake. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
When are you coming again?